Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. Today, I want to do a video where I'm kind of just going to be talking about a few different things. Not specifically about gold and silver, but I'm kind of going to be going over stuff that's been going on, over topics, over comments, over different stuff. Some people will find today's video a little bit boring. If you find it a little boring, I totally understand. Every video I do is not going to be for everybody. I got to start off right off by saying if you do like the video, hit that thumbs up button because it really does help me out and it helps the algorithm, and it lets me know too what types of videos do better, what types of videos do worse. And I'll be honest, it's Friday. We'll just call it a fun Friday, maybe a catch-up Friday. And I've had a few comments, a few issues, and I kind of just want to talk about a few more things. One being what happened yesterday. Oh, before I go on, please, like I said, if you enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment. Let me know. So yesterday, I had a few people ask me what happened yesterday. So I make my videos up at about midnight to 1 or 2 in the morning is usually when I do the videos. It's usually the last thing in the day when things are pretty well all wound down for the day. I'll come in, I'll make my videos and post it and have it set to go off at about 6 a.m. My time here in Texas, Central Texas. So that's going to be really early for some of y'all. If you're in New England or you're on the East Coast, that's going to be about 7 o'clock for you. If it's on the West Coast, that's going to be really early for you. But basically, for yesterday's video, I finished making it at about 1 o'clock, and then I kind of started feeling a little funny. Some of y'all know I'm going through some medical stuff right now that I've been working on. A lot of it does have to do with diabetes and possible heart issues. I actually got to go see a cardiologist one of these days. But I kind of just felt a little lightheaded, and I kind of sat down, and that was it. I didn't remember anything else until I woke up with basically a leg pain, like a Charlie horse, I think some people call it. I did some research. I've been doing a lot of reading, and I'm getting a lot of contradicting information. Like some people saying you can't lower your blood sugar without taking metformin or medicine. Some people saying you can't drink distilled water, and that's why you're getting sick now. And I mean, all these different things that's just mind blowing to me. But I kind of read up on it, and I have been trying to get the blood sugar out of my blood to lower my A1C levels, and doing it naturally. Because I've got friends that take medicine and they're like, see, I take my medicine, I can eat whatever I want and not worry about it. And I think that's the wrong approach, just to be solely running off medicine. So I personally have been drinking a lot of water. I've been reading that if you drink a lot of water, you exercise throughout the day, and you try to stay away from carbs and sugars, that you can lower your numbers. But an A1C is a 3-month average, because the way your blood cells are made. I guess your blood cells are made and then they basically are done 3 months later. That's the lifespan of a blood cell. So if you've got a lot of sugar in your body, the sugar will connect to the blood cells, and it will basically, the more sugar that connects to the blood cells, when you go and do your A1, if your blood is saturated with these sugar molecules, then your A1C is high. If you're seeing some without and some with, or you're seeing the average come down, then you're getting better. So I had the idea, if I drink a lot of water, and you guys know I spend a lot of time outside, I do a lot of work outside, that I could maybe bring down my A1C, because obviously the water helps push your urine through. It cleans out your kidneys and different stuff, I guess. And so I had that, but now I'm experiencing some kind of electrolyte deficiency because I am drinking 2.5 gallons of water, 2 to 2.5 gallons of water a day right now. And you guys know I'm not a fan of AC. So as it gets hotter, I only have AC in one room in my house, and that's it. I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, I think it's overrated, and I hate to spend the money on it, essentially. Some people think I'm crazy, but it is what it is. So that's what happened yesterday. I don't really know fully. I just passed out and woke up the next morning, and it was 9 o'clock. And I was like, what the heck? But I don't sleep much. A lot of you know I will go days without sleep. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know I reply to comments all night. I'm putting videos up at all kinds of times. Early in the morning, I'll put short videos up late at night because I am dedicated to the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, and it's important to me that I do answer all the comments, or at least try to. So I've been kind of really pushing as much as I can, and I guess eventually it does take a toll on you, and that's it. So that's what happened yesterday, why that video didn't go up. I talked recently in the week, I did a video about how I was kind of disappointed that I was standing alone, I felt like, on the dip, that I said that we will see a major dip in silver before the end of the month. The short positions have to close out. A lot of people said if it was that easy to predict, everybody would be doing it. A lot of people stick to the I'm going to just buy regular routines and you dollar cost average. And I've always said there's nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging. I think that's the best way to go. But me personally, I'm looking to pick up more on the dips, not just because I already have mine. I already have, essentially a good amount of silver that if things really did get crazy, I would be okay. I'm just starting to realize now how much gold or silver should someone try to acquire. I don't want to say, there's ever really a finite number, a specific number. Everybody's going to have different amounts. But I think it's interesting, and I like to wait and pick up now when we see dips. And for those people that bought during the $27 jump and said there's no way silver will ever see $33 again and this and that, I mean, take a look at what silver's doing right now as we speak. Silver has been plunging. Really, it started a little bit here, a little bit there over the week. I see silver down now to 35.56. The numbers that I'm showing when I look at the charts are easily going down to 35.10. Now, 35.10 is not $33 though. There's still room for another $2 drop in my personal opinion. I'm still expecting to see that $33 range. For those of you that don't know or haven't really been following it, how did I get that $33 range? I'm looking right around here. As you can see, there was a lot of trading that took place in the $33 range when you look at this chart, and then we've seen a big jump here, and then it stayed flat, another big jump, and then you had some more traction, some more people had time to buy in. We saw that one last push, and then we started seeing it kind of coming down. Now the big question is, where is it going to go from here? Right now we're at 1 o'clock in overnight trading, and we've got silver down to 35.50. Now that's $1.50 off from what its high was. Now, I'm not against silver. I've said that time and time again. In fact, I think the rebound that we're going to see after the 4th of July is going to look a lot like this. When silver plunged from 34.50 all the way down to 28.75 roughly. And then it rebounded literally in just a couple of days. It had already rebounded a good portion of that money. I won't say just a couple of days, but it didn't take long before it had rebounded. And I'm catching up on a lot of comments, and I had a lot of people say that rebound happened way super fast, and a lot of people just totally missed the opportunity. And I've said that time and time again. If you see a big dip, it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to be something that you'll have time to move funds around, and you either are ready for it or you're not ready for it. And we're closing out the second financial quarter here in the next essentially 2 weeks, if that. I won't even say 2 weeks because we don't even quite have 14 days. But a lot of positions, specifically short positions, will have to be covered. And once you realize that, you understand that we could see the price plunge. Now, if you look closely at this chart right here, you can see that the price did dip to where it's at now not too long ago. On the 12th, we seen the price actually take a big dip, and then it instantly got bought back up. Now, when you see it in short one-day moves like that where it plunges and jumps right back up, that I have a lot of belief that it's basically people putting in paper positions and then buying up physical. But when you see it gradually coming down, to think that it could come down to 33, I know some people out there think that can't possibly happen. I don't think it's going to happen all in one day. I mean, right now, like I said, it's Friday morning at 1 a.m. and we're already down 2.3% in overnight trading. This probably will go back up a little bit and then probably come back down a little bit. And I believe there's a good chance we will close out Friday and the week in the $35 range. You'll see a lot of news articles come out. You'll see a lot of Google reports come out. A lot of stuff will come out and say how silver is posed to make a big pullback. And all of a sudden, you'll actually start seeing it, I believe, come down. And when that happens, that could promote fear in people. And the same YouTubers that have been telling you, you better buy at 37 or you're going to miss the boat because it's about to explode and this and that. And then you're going to start possibly even seeing them next week coming out with videos of massive silver pullback. Silver gets hugely manipulated and slapped down and this and that. And then you might even hear talk about how low silver can go. And you'll start hearing the comments and the videos coming out that silver could go down into the $25 range, and you'll probably start hearing some crazy stuff, because what that's doing is that's positioning the average person to not want to buy when we see $33 silver. Or I mean, could it go a little lower? Yeah, I mean, I've said we could see 31 as low as $31 silver. I don't believe we will see $31 silver, but I think we will see $35 silver. But if all these people are waiting for, sub $30 silver, $25 silver, they don't put in their purchase. And then if you don't put in your purchase at the lower number, all of a sudden you see one of these big spikes back up and you've essentially missed the boat. And that's the people that manipulate the price of silver. They are able to make huge moves on gold and silver. Huge moves. We're talking astronomical. So they might be able to beat the price down by 30 million ounces today, but all of a sudden they're buying it right back up right after, and they're buying back up physical, and they're draining the physical supply because they know the silver supply is getting restricted. Are we running out of silver? I'm not going to say we're running out, because essentially the silver is still there. It just matters who has it. Will I sell mine for the right amount of money? I mean, yes. I've said that time and time again. I've talked to numerous friends that I've gotten into it, and they told me, if silver goes up to 55, 60 bucks, they would sell half their stack. And even I had originally said that, and I may still do that when that time comes. I don't know. I wouldn't sell half my stack to put it in cash and in a bank account, because that's not worth it. But would I sell half my stack at 55, 60 bucks to get all of the fiat dollars that I've ever spent on silver back? Well, yes. And I would still have the other half of my stack essentially totally free. I would have nothing at that point into it. Now, like I said, the only way I would sell is if I'm going to put it into some other asset class, whether that be remodel a house, whether that be buy a nice piece of property, a nice vehicle, a trailer, a travel trailer, something that has value. Because the truth of the matter is, as the dollar gets debased and goes down in value, we'll continue to see everything go up in value. What was the key word? I had heard a word today in one of the comments that I found super interesting. It was it money? I can't remember now. I better not talk about it without knowing exactly what the word was. Someone had told me a word that I'd heard for the first time, and I looked it up what the word was because I was so fast. I was like, what the heck is that? I've never heard that. Money value, essentially. And basically what it was, though, was any currency you have is going to be worth more today than it is tomorrow when it comes to fiat currency. Your money, and I hate to use the word money, but people recognize money as fiat, unfortunately. And then they recognize gold as gold and silver as silver. Uh, Silver and gold, in my personal opinion, is real money. That's real wealth. You put it away, you save it, it will be worth more down the road, most likely, than it was when you got it. Are there short time spans and windows where, yeah, the price overshoots what it should be, and then all of a sudden skyrockets to a high price that it shouldn't be that high, and then all of a sudden somebody buys in, and then all of a sudden you see it plunge back down? Well, yeah, we've seen that time and time again. Because anytime you manipulate something low, it's like a pendulum. If you pull a pendulum back one way, it doesn't belong there. What happens? It swings the other way. And then it swings back the other way. And it just goes back and forth until it eventually slows down and ends where it actually rightfully belongs. And right now, we are swinging the pendulum on silver price in the wrong direction. Silver price should be a lot higher than $35, but yet essentially we're seeing at 35, and now we're seeing them beat it down to basically go even lower, it looks like. And I think a time is going to come where the manipulation will have to come to an end. Everybody believes that, oh, they can keep playing this game forever. They can, until a day comes where they can't. Now, what would happen to where they can't beat the price down? Well, obviously, if silver supply runs out, or it runs down so much where people are missing deliveries, you can't say that silver's only worth $35, because there's always going to be people out there that will sell it for more than this number. Like I said, I mean, if silver shot up to 55 or 60 bucks, I would let some go. Why? Because I could do other things with that money. I mean, I don't want to say that I live off ramen noodles and, peanut butter and jelly, because some people are like, dude, there's no way he's living off that. But I do eat. I don't now. I was eating a lot of it. Ramen noodles, I was told I had to stop on so many levels because carbs, the sodium, and that's the big factors for me for both my issues right now. Peanut butter and jelly, I still like it, but I can't eat that either. But it's probably not as bad as ramen noodle, but who knows? I think my diabetes is probably the number one thing I got to focus on. But where I'm going with that is I'd rather spend that extra money now anyway on picking up silver that's undervalued at $35. Now, the question always comes up, well, what do you think about gold? You talk about silver, you talk about silver. When you get into gold, the thing that I want you to understand is the ratio of gold to silver. That's what makes silver such a great buy. But silver at $33.50 is not that unbelievable. Do I think they're going to push silver down? Yeah, they're going to have to push silver down. Because if you push silver down by 2%, it's naturally going to pull. If you push gold down by like even 2%, you're going to see silver come down with it. Now, like right now, you've got gold down not quite 1%, 0.72%. You're seeing gold get slammed by a whole 2.2%, or another 1.5% down from where gold is. Now, what does that mean? That means that gold is right now essentially holding its ground. And, one of the things about gold is a safe haven asset. Silver is too, but silver is easier to manipulate, especially at this time of the year, because the short positions have to be covered. Now, in order to cover a short position, you have to understand first what a short position is. Short position means you borrowed ounces of silver and you put them on the market and sold them. And you're telling them, I will give you your silver back before the financial quarter closes. Well, the financial quarter closes this month. So you just had 3 months to use their silver, essentially, and now the piper came due. Well, what happened the last time we seen this? Gold did not have a huge drop. Gold actually went from 31.22 all the way down to basically 29.50. Now, that's not a devastating drop. But for the people that were in silver when this happened during the last financial quarter closing, you had silver go from 34.50 all the way down to 28.50. Now, that's a huge drop. That's a devastating hit. Will it be that bad this time? Probably won't be that bad. And the reason is, right now, this quarter from last quarter, there's a little less short position out there that has to be cleared up. But on top of that, some of this ground is people that are totally out of the game. They've taken their silver and they've taken it out of the system. And so you have a baseline price right now that's forming on this average range right here around the $33 level. And once you understand that, you understand, how low it can go. And you understand that gold may not have as big of a hit. Could we see a $100 drop in gold? Absolutely. But it's nothing major because we've seen how quick it can pick up. I remember when gold actually hit $3,100 and then all of a sudden it came crashing down. And I talked to a lot of people that were like trying to unload their gold because they thought that was the end of it. And then all of a sudden it didn't take long before it popped right back up and went even higher to where everything now is higher from that day they bought it. And as you look back a year, you can see your purchases have gradually, it's getting more and more expensive to pick it up. If I go 5 years back, you can see that we hung out in this $2,000, $1,900 to $2,000 range for an awfully long time before we started seeing that climb. We are actually in a pretty much a bull run now. We're seeing gold and silver take off. And a lot of people are going to leave negative comments because I'm about, I won't say a month behind, because the way I answer my comments, I try to answer the newest comment. It's always the newest comment first. So if someone puts a comment on today, that will get answered. But then when I get through today's comments, it says that, okay, the next comment is a month back. So I basically got all the comments over the last 30 days. But what I want to take from that, you to take from that, is when I'm answering comments right now, my comments, a lot of them are a month old. And, there were people that were discouraged, essentially, because they're like, oh, I bought and then it came down. And here's the thing. The price gradually goes up. Yeah, I pulled you up a 3-month chart on gold. You can see a lot of sideways trading right here when you look at this. But that's only because there is a fight going on right now. There is a fight between the dollar and other currencies, and there's a fight between gold and Bitcoin, and there's essentially a fight between Bitcoin and gold against fiat currencies. So there's a lot of different things going on right now that is helping push gold and silver higher, and there's a lot of people out there that are betting the other way, and they want to see gold and silver come down. What is going to reign supreme in the end? Will it be Bitcoin or will it be gold? You can't really just look at the gains that have already happened, because I always have people tell me, oh, no, Bitcoin has clearly done better. You look at Bitcoin year to date, and Bitcoin started the year at 93,000. Here we are at 104,000. It's up about 10 grand. You're talking maybe 9%. Well, no, it says actually, 12%. We'll say 11.8, 12%. When we looked at gold is outperforming Bitcoin for the year. It's outperforming silver for the year. Yeah, if you look at some chart that goes way out when no one even knew what Bitcoin was at $450, well, of course, it's going to show you astronomical 22,000% gains. But you can't look just at previous. That's not a guarantee that this will continue on. Why? Because Bitcoin has not been around as long as gold and silver. But I'll be honest, Bitcoin's looking good right now. It's doing a great job holding ground above 100. Like I said in a previous video, I've got a friend that has some. He's been on the fence of selling, but now he don't want to sell because he thinks it's going to have another big breakout. It could be this right here. You get this big breakout, then we've seen it come down. Then we had another breakout, kind of like here. We had a breakout, then another drop, then a breakout. And then from there, it just continued to plunge as a lot of money flowed into altcoins, and people were left holding the bag as it went down to $16,000. Now, here's the thing you got to consider, though, with Bitcoin. Bitcoin got up to $65,000, $70,000 roughly. And then it came down to 20. It took essentially more than roughly a 75% hit. Now, once you see that, can you imagine if Bitcoin was to plunge now 75% from where it's at right this minute? You would have Bitcoin trading at $35,000. We'll just say 35 just to be, an easy number. Even at 35, being generous, because that's not 75% drop. $35,000 Bitcoin, people will be flipping out. And it's easy to say, oh, no, I'll just buy more. I'll just buy more. It's hard to buy when you're seeing an asset that's not physical coming down in value. It will make you question. Look what happened when gold and silver came down. People were questioning it. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Taking a quick look at the DXY, because I find this kind of interesting. We've got the DXY now at 98.6. We're seeing it come down again. We'll look at roughly the 5-day chart. We've seen it go up. Now we're seeing it kind of trickle down. But what's funny is we're seeing gold and silver dropping as well. Why are we seeing it dropping? We got so many escalations in the Middle East. We should be seeing it go up, but we're not really seeing that happening right now. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out because tensions are escalating in the Middle East. You know, Trump wants an unconditional surrender. Iran basically said they're not going to do it. And now we're moving 3 carrier groups, our 3rd carrier group. Someone actually corrected me yesterday. I said 2, and someone corrected me. No, it's 3. Now, I'll be honest, one of them carrier groups I believe is going out there to replace the Carl Vinson carrier group. That's the Nemitz group that's moving out there, and it's going to be replacing one of those. But for a while, for a little bit, we're going to have all 3 carrier groups right there in the Middle East. Now, with that happening, it's going to be interesting to see if something is going to escalate in Iran. I talked to one friend who is from the Middle East, and he thinks that he's giving, I think, Iran a little more credit than I think they deserve. He don't think that tensions will escalate. He don't think the U.S. will get involved. Personally, I mean, I understand. He also told me, he goes, if they do, the U.S. does get involved, it's going to be a mistake. I said, it's definitely going to be a big bill for taxpayers. We don't need to get involved because ultimately, if we get too involved, then we'll have to put troops on the ground. And if we've got to put troops on the ground, that's not going to fly with the average American. I'm hoping that Trump will keep us out of anything for the next, 3.5 years. It's bad enough that we're giving a lot of aid over there. I'm not saying that I'm against any side, but I am saying it is costing taxpayers a lot of money. I had one comment that said, hey, that's good for gold and silver. Here's the thing. Gold and silver is so heavily manipulated at a time right now where it should be going up in price with tensions. It's not. Why? Because it's manipulated. They're manipulating it down. But like I said, the lower they manipulate it, the more countries and people are going to buy it. And as more and more countries and people buy it, it's only going to essentially make it to where it runs out or runs lower inventory, and then it goes up in price. Look at the price of oil. Oil having that major spike. When you look at it over a month, we're seeing it gradually climb. I don't want to go back to $4 a gallon gasoline. I also don't want to see people not make it. I don't want to see war. I don't want to be involved in a war. I don't want the U.S. to be involved in a war. I don't want to see people pass away for nonsense. But I'm curious to see how a lot of this is going to play out. But we'll see how that plays out. But we should be seeing essentially silver and gold prices go up. But why are we seeing them down today to more than 2.25%? A lot of that, I believe, has to do with what's coming. That dip that we talked about, it's coming. And even when you look, when it was at 36 and I said that it would come down to 33, and I remember specifically when I made that video, and the price jumped up to 37.25, and there were people that were just laughing at me. They're like, we just went up $1.25, and you think we're going to go down to 30? Well, here we are now, not back at 36.50, but even lower, down to 35.50. And like I said, I'm not against silver. I believe silver is going to go astronomically higher. In fact, I would not be surprised to see silver hit $40 in the next 90 days and see silver hit $33 in the next 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks at most. After the 4th of July weekend, if you don't see it dip, I think it will actually come sooner than that. I kind of think we're going to see the big dip around the 26th or 27th will be the bottom. but it's too soon to tell that right now. Obviously, we did have the Fed meeting recently. The Fed said they're not going to cut interest rates. If you're not going to cut interest rates, essentially people were already pricing in an interest rate cut. They'll be pricing it in next time because eventually they will cut the interest rates. When they cut interest rates, you're going to see stuff go up. You're going to see Bitcoin go up. You're going to see cryptocurrencies go up. You're going to see essentially prices of everything go up because money is going to get cheaper. And if people can borrow money at a cheaper interest rate, they're going to take that money and they're going to buy assets. And the question is, what assets are they going to buy? And will you already have yours? So who knows? We'll see how this all plays out. I'm excited to see. And with that being said, let's see. Oh, this was something I was reading about. I haven't gotten a firm answer. I've been looking around, but everything I find comes back to classified information on exactly how much silver is in a Tomahawk missile or how much silver is in a Middle Eastern missile. But every country classifies their missiles to where they don't give the specific details. And it's easy for a YouTuber to come out and say, oh, I know somebody. Yeah, I know someone at the White House and at JP Morgan, and they told me silver's going to plunge. I mean, come on, who believes that stuff? Everybody claims to know somebody. Just because someone's got a big following on YouTube does not mean that they actually know someone at the White House or at JP Morgan or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to conclude the video here. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me. It's the weekend. I hope you all have a great weekend. I won't see you again until Monday. Hopefully we'll have some exciting news on Monday. We could see this dip continue on Sunday night. The best dips always seem to happen late at night. So we'll see what happens, or in the early morning when the markets are closed on two sides. We got 4th of July weekend. I expect we're going to see some good deals pop up. Maybe even some spot price deals would be really nice, but that might be a little too good to be true, especially if the price of silver is coming down. The cheapest I've ever seen silver selling for and paying attention to it since I've been stacking was actually on the 4th of July weekend about 5 years ago, I think, 6 years ago. We've seen it go all the way down to $15. I actually helped someone buy two or four? Four. Technically it was four, but they partnered up. They had 2 Silver Eagle boxes and 2 generic boxes, and they bought it all at that price. Well, now they're sitting on essentially gold mines at $15 an ounce. So we'll see what happens. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're picking up some good deals. I think we are going to see some good deals. Hopefully we'll see this dip continue, and then everybody can go to the coin shops on Fridays, but expect premiums could jump. Premiums could go up. Expect the gold-silver ratio to go up higher. I would love to see 100 to 1 again. If we see that, I probably will be trying to make a drive to one of the big cities, whether that be Dallas, Austin, Houston, and look for someone that's willing to trade 100 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. I would love to pick up, trade some of my gold out for some silver. So with that being said, I thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys again next time on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and be sure to check out some of these 8 great videos this weekend. I will be putting up some shorts this weekend, and I hope y'all have a great weekend. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.